Hey, what's going on, y'all? Sean, the Master Rock Tutoring here, and I want to talk about setting up a truth table. Now, before we get into this, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. Now, what I'm talking about here is very fundamental, so it's not going to be a long video at all. But I just was thinking, I don't want to assume that you know what's going on when you set a truth table up, all the T's and the F's and all that kind of stuff. So, if you want to know what the P's and the Q's generally stand for, you can watch one of my other videos where I talk about that when I talk about logic and or and if then. Um, but here we're just talking about setting up a truth table because, you know, I think sometimes when we look at this stuff in school or wherever, we just see all the T's and the F's and it's like I just need to write it the way they write it. But no, I want you to understand why it's set up the way it is. There's like a reason for it, okay? Now, this is gonna be a quick video. So now, whenever you're setting up a truth table, you have two statements, P and Q, okay? And so you know, like the each of these stands for let me give like a logical example. So like let's say that P stands for um I wash my hands, and then Q stands for I take a bath. Okay. I'm just kind of picking stuff out of my head, so don't worry about all the, whatever. But these are literally statements, okay? And so when you set up a truth table, you are trying to determine the outcome of when each of these statements is true or false, okay? Now, so what we're gonna write here is we want to know, think about this. We want to know what happens when both statements are true. We want to know when one statement is true and then one statement is false. Then we want to know when the other statement is false and then the other statement is true. And then finally, we want to know when both are false. So if you think about that, we're listing out all the different scenarios because think about it. When we're going to evaluate P and Q here, watch the other video if you want to know what that means. When you're wanting to evaluate that, you're wanting to go through all the iterations of how P and Q can be true or false. So there's a situation where P is true and Q is true. There's a situation where P is true and then Q is false, right? So these are both of the situations where where P is true. Now we need both of the situations where P is false, right? So when P is false, there's a situation where Q is going to be true, and then there's a situation where Q is also going to be false. Four different situations. That's why you'll see T, 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 F, F, T, F, F. Because again, I realize tutoring in geometry, I realize that sometimes people just see all that stuff and it's like, I have to memorize why they're writing those letters in that way. No, 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 you don't. Just understand what it is. These are all the different kind of all the different kind of combinations of truths and falses that are possible. When both are true, when the first is true and the other is false, when the second is true and the second is false and the other is true, and then finally when both are false. Okay. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, now we can actually evaluate the and statement, the conjunction, P and Q. Remember, P and Q means both of these have to be true. The other one is P or Q, which means the first one has to be true or the second one has to be true for the whole thing to be true. So again, with and, both of these have to be true for the statement to be true. Okay. So true, 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 false, false, and false. Because this is the only situation where you have both statements actually being true. There's no other situation where both statements are true, which is required for the and statement to be true. Okay. Not going too deep into that. Hopefully this helps. Let me know. Like, subscribe, share. Have a good one. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you need math tutoring or you need SAT math help, look in the description to find out how you can sign up today. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in touch with Math Swap Tutoring on YouTube. Have a good one.